Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 72 entitled Christ Dimension. This is the third video regarding this series of 4 videos. All of them are independent. We're gonna try to broaden, to enlarge our perspective regarding this concept of Christ dimensions, regarding and repeating the fact that, to summarize, is not belonging to anyone, is not belonging to a specific character. It is just Christ. It's coming from Krystos in Greek, which means basically crystal, okay? Crystal clear. It means the fact to purify yourself, your mind, your soul, to access to the true I am, without your, let's say, a different personality, that's to say the mask, shaping yourself, your ego, okay, since your childhood, like your education, like your character, and so on, okay? All the mask shaping yourself, and for which it's hide actually the true self, okay? So the true I am, so Christ is not ownership, is not belonging to someone, is a state of mind. It is just a mindset. A state of mind means it's an energy for which everybody has an access, regardless religion, regardless the path, the roads and so on. All the roads lead to Rome and to the Dome. This is exactly that. It means that it is kind of universal. YOUniversALL. S-O-U-L, if I can play with it. Okay, so this is extremely important. Why? Because today we're gonna see the messages conveyed through a person, okay, Jesus. Actually, it's, I insist drastically, universal, and it's probably a synthesis of different teaching worldwide. It's a kind of synthesis, summarize of the world heritage regarding spirituality. So this is the first point I wanted to mention and explain a little bit. The history, let's say, is quite blurred. It's quite, let's say, not really clear regarding the existence of Jesus. Okay, we know roughly his birth, that to say he was not born in 0, but more in -4 or -7 before Jesus Christ. How do we know that? Because the king Herod killed, because he had been informed that apparently there was a new Messiah, Messi, and he started to kill all the babies at this period of time, which is a factual, historic elements, okay? You can check, it's not theology, it's not belief, it is official, okay? It's part of history. So, but it was not in 0, okay? This is arrangements, then we change a little bit the calendar, but just regarding the birth, it was at this period of time. This is the first one, but it's not so precise. Then we know roughly some elements with Joseph and so on, Flavius Joseph and so on, who wrote some elements, but there is not so many books except the Gospels. But the Gospel, as I mentioned before, initially they were 55. At the end, after Council of Nice in 325, they are only 4. Most of them, they have been written largely later, after the period of Jesus, that to say a few decades most of the time, and even some people, they never met him. Okay, so you can imagine that there is probably you know, in the word of mouth, if I say something to someone who said to someone and so on, after a few decades, I'm not sure the initial message would be the same and remain completely intact. Okay, so it is said that 10 to 15% of the gospel are the true messages. Okay, just quote a mark. I have no clue, I don't know, but this is just the information I had. Okay, so Secondly, we know especially when he started the ministry, his ministry when he was 30 to apparently his death, 33. Okay, but before that, between 12, his bar mitzvah, and when he was teenager until 30 years old, we have no clue, we have no idea, except some eventually testimonies. So he would have been to Egypt, for which he would have been taught by thoughts as well, the Holy Spirit, and also by some official wise men, okay, in Egypt, with the mysteries of Egypt. Then also he would have been to Assyria, Babylonia, also in Persia with Zoroastrianism and so on, also in India, for which he would have been taught through Ayurveda, Ayurvedic dimension, also Buddhism, Hinduism, and so on. He would have been also to Tibet, okay, to Shambhala, by the way, and he would have been taught as well some different elements regarding the Buddhist culture, and until the western part of China, that's to say with Confucianism and Taoism. Confucianism and Lao Tzu, and so Taoism and Confucius is roughly 6 centuries before Jesus Christ. Okay, so he would have been taught also of Chinese medicine, for which he would have gathered all this information, all this teaching, to combine and to come back to Palestine to start his ministry. That's why he would have had some abilities to heal people and so on. And also that's why there are so many similarities between Buddhism and so on. And we could think it's plagiat or it's a copy-paste and so on. No, it's probably just the fact to have been inspired or and taught. I'm working on that for since I'm 12, okay, so now I'm 42, so almost 30 years. I'm trying to establish, and I will do in the future, in a few months, to establish the similarities between the different streams, the different currents, spiritual currents, religious, esoteric, and so on and so forth, to see the similarities. Okay, this is extremely, I mean, according to me, very, very important. Okay, so, but what I try to say is probably the messages are a synthesis of the worldwide heritage, East and West, and combined together. Even if within, you know, the monotheist religion, we can consider this is the continuum, systematically, Judaism, Christianity, and then Islam is a continuum, like chapter 1, chapter 2, and so on. It's not antinomic, it's not in opposition, it's just an update systematically. And why an update? Basically, by the way, I just said, I didn't come to annihilate the law, I came to implement and to apply the law, okay? I mean, the God's law, of course, and not the human law. This is really important because Jesus still considered as a Jewish, okay? So this is a continuum, means a continuation, okay, but smooth. And it's probably some perception, narrow-minded vision, and also some people who wanted to use religions as power to divine and conquer, okay, in the sense that divine and rule means the fact that it's better that people are separated and not unified, okay? So that's why maybe the library of Alexandria was containing the fact there was, let's say, a link, a common thread between this whole spirituality. So what I try to tell you is this notion of update arrived with Jesus, but then with also Muhammad for Middle East, but also for Martin Luther and so on, Calvin. Why? Because systematically was the same principle. The essence, the initial messages were pure, but then they have been spoiled in a certain extent through institutions, through certain priests who just wanted to make money with the fact to give, for example, compassion, purification, and so on. And this is something Jesus could not tolerate, that Martin Luther in Germany couldn't tolerate, Calvin as well, in France and so on. The Protestantism means that, to protest, okay, against that, especially why? Because there was no intercessor, there was no, no human being could be in between God and anyone, okay, so that's why, essentially. Well, let's try to continue, okay, the Christ era, the age of Aquarius, okay, actually, this is a notion of cosmic cycles. What does it mean? We're gonna do a parallel with astronomy, okay? Actually, you know, when it's written, behold, when you have entered in the city, you will meet a man carrying a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he will enter. What is the pitcher of water? Pitcher of water. A guy holding a pitch of water, a vase, a jar of water. Aquarius. Okay, so it's a symbol. Jesus announced at the end of the time, at the end of his time, of this period of cycle, at the end of its cycle, there will be a man to follow. It means, it doesn't mean you will follow someone. It means he will be the Aquarius period of time. We can consider that Jesus part, so the cycles are, you know, the precession of equinox, the big cycle, okay, of the planets and the galaxy is 26,000 years, roughly. If you divide by 12, because there is 12 signs, okay, cycles, era, it's 2,150 years, okay? So we can consider roughly 2,000 years. So from the birth of Jesus till now, he would have been the pixies, okay? Vesica pixies, fish, in quote mark, pixies. What does it mean? It means that that's why there is a lot of references within the Bible regarding that. So it was this period of time, and it was more the hegemony, okay, the apogee, the peak of Western civilization, Inquisition, colonization, and so on. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that it was, matter of fact, even nowadays, there is almost only exclusively Western countries, except maybe Turkmenistan and or North Korea, except that even in China, I lived 10 years in China, they are Westerns. Okay, almost in the mentality and so on, even if it's a bit different from European people and or from States or Canada, of course, but it's in South America, they are Westerners. That's a matter of fact. But anyway, just to say that each eras, okay, cycles are always with hegemony. If we continue, before that, it was Aries era. Okay, from minus 2000 till 0. Okay, so it was more the Greek and Roman period. Okay, that's why in the Jubilee for Jews, they blow in horns. Okay, it's a symbol for that. Okay, before that, it was the era of Taurus. Okay, buffalo in a certain extent, minus 4,000 to minus 2,000, okay? So it was the Egyptian period, okay? And before that, it was Gemini era or cycle, minus 6,000 to minus 4,000 is the Persian period. And before that, it was minus 6,000 to minus 8,000. It was Cancer era. It was more the Indian period of time. Okay, so apparently we are in a transition towards Aquarius period of time. Christ, golden age, Christ period, 5D and so whatever the terminology, it means that. But before that, because some people say it's already started, but apparently the transition is maybe over 100 years, something like this. Okay, and it's apparently depending on the individual evolution of the consciousness of each of us. Okay, so maybe certain of us will, in the inner process, in the inner path, in a way, they will evolve differently. So the perception of the world, the energy, the frequencies and so on will be different from the rest of people. So it will be maybe with different stages and different steps in a certain extent. So this period of time, okay, from Pisces to Aquarius is a transition. And this is supposed to be the worst, the darkest period of time. This is what the Hindu call Kali Yoga. Yoga actually is a cycle, is this 2000 years. Okay, this is exactly what the Jewish call Armageddon. Christians, they call it apocalypse. Apocalypse in Greek means revelation. Revelation means unveil the different, let's say, mask of the reality to perceive the reality, to see, to realize with real eyes the real lies in a certain extent. Not to battle and to be pissed off and so on. No, just to understand that it's a question of perception, angle of vision and so on. And to try to go more in the dimension of the true I am. For Muslim is Dajjal and so on. So it's a turbulence period of time for which we are invited to go down till the bottom. And the bottom, actually, you can take impulse and you can bounce back, or some people will stay there probably. But the goal is just to analyze the world, the situation, you personalize the system and so on, and to try, because now is the period of choice, okay? What vibrates, what doesn't vibrate within you, okay? Are you peaceful with that and so on? And we are invited to transmute, that to say, to discharge, to neutralize, to be peaceful with everything from this planet, okay? Inwardly, outwardly, and in your environments, a close environment, and also worldwide. Well, the Christ era is also the notion of transposition. In the notion of Christianity, actually, this is what I call, pagan. Pagan is a bit negative for certain people. It just means basically nature, spirituality. It's like shamanism and so on. There is no institution. There is no corpus. There is no structure. There is no framework. I'm not saying there is no ritual or rites. It's not this. But at least there is no, hierarchy and so on. But there was an organization here nearby, 500 kilometers from here. I'm in Anatolia, in Turkey. This is the first civilization on Earth. Okay, 12,000 years, between 14 and 12,000 years before the deluge, before the floodings. Imagine the earthquake regarding some holy structures, okay, for which Adam and Eve is around 6,000 years ago. Imagine. So, but just to keep in mind that the civilization has been built through the cults, and this is important. So, but most of the time, on this planet, there is like acupuncture. There is different natural energetic places, okay? And, for example, Stone Age and so on. So, because there is some lines on Earth first, so all the temples have been built there for a reason of the energy. And the retranscription also with the let's say the celestial, the sky, in a certain extent, the different stars, the alignments of the stars. I will talk later about that. But then it's like, Christianity did a lot of transposition, physically or even in the events, okay, in the celebrations. For instance, Stone Age, you take it out the stones, and because it's energetic place and a lot of people discharge or pray and so on, so they made evolving this energy, and then you built a church, a mosque, and a temple or whatever. Okay, this is exactly what I tried to explain with transposition. if you see for Christianity, this is really interesting because, and also in other religions, you know, the beginning of the year is systematically spring. Okay, it's just a change in history. An empire wanted to change to put the new calendar 1st of January. But that's why the 1st of April, the day of the jokes, the full day, actually this is just to laugh about these things. But most of humanity continue to celebrate what? Concretely, the equinox. Equinox means the moments for which there is the rebirth of nature, and also for which the energy are the most balanced everywhere on the planets. Okay, so this is Eastern for Jewish, then for Christian, because apparently Jesus was dead at this period of celebration. But then also in many community, for example, Turkic are the all Turkish speaker, not only Turkey, Azerbaijan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, all the 5 countries from former Soviet Union in central Turkmenistan as well, and so on, and in Persia as well, and they celebrate Naros. Naros is exactly that. Is spring, is the beginning of the year, but concretely is a transposition with the equinox. So what I try to tell you, even the religion reused the energy of the events and the celebration. If you see the 25th of December is basically the solstice, okay, for which in northern hemisphere this is the Sol Invictus. Within 3 days the darkness is the maximum on Earth, and then an increase after that, okay, till equinox and so on. 23rd of September, so autumn, it is Saturnalia, okay, which has been celebrated a long time, and so on so far. Okay, so what I try to tell you, that's all of them are linked, and this is also many theories regarding the Gnosticism, from Ivanov, Peter Denov, Essence, and so on. Actually, most of the spirituality and religion are based on the cult of sun. Akhenaten is the first one. Akhenaten in Egypt, he tried to centralize all different gods. Okay, Nether, okay, 44 Nethers from High Egypt and Low Egypt, and he tried to combine with sun. And sun as a metaphor, saying that all the rays embody an ability of God, okay, an ether. Okay, this is principle of polytheism, as I explained in different videos. Okay, so, but what I try to tell you, if you take a look, okay, just try to soak and to infuse what I'm gonna tell you, and you try to see the links with eventually something else. The Sol Invictus, okay? I told you, Sol Invictus means unbeaten sun, okay? So, Horus is in Egypt 3,000 years ago. First, so is supposed to be the god of the sun, okay? Is opposed to Seth, okay, the god embodying darkness, okay? He was born 25 of December. From Isis, a virgin. His birth is marked by a star coming from east, okay? Then there is adoration of 3 kings. At 12 years old, he is a child prodigy. Then when he was 30 years old, he has been baptized by Anup, okay? Then he is accompanied by 12 disciples, and he did some miracles. He is betrayed by Siphon, he is crucified and buried for 3 days, and then resurrection. Okay, doesn't remind you anything? Okay, let's continue. Attis in Greece, Attis, okay, 1,002 years before Jesus Christ. He was born 25 of December from a virgin mother. He was crucified and he resurrected after 3 days. Okay, same, almost. Mithras. Mithras is 1,200 years before Jesus Christ, is in Persia, essentially. He was born 25 of December from a virgin mother. He had 12 disciples. He did some miracles. He was buried, and after 3 days, he was resurrected. And his sacred day is Sunday. Sunday? Okay, Sunday, the day of the sun. Krishna, Christ, Krishna, okay, it's almost the same etymology, like Brahma and Abraham also, but anyway. Krishna, 100 years before Jesus Christ. He was born from a virgin mother, accompanied by a star coming from the east. When he was born, he did some miracles. He had some disciples. He was dead and resurrected as well. And last, the fifth example, Dionysus is in Greece, okay, 5,000 years before Jesus Christ. He was born, same 25 of December from a virgin. He did miracles, and after his death, he was resurrected. So, is this coincidence? Question mark. Let's continue. 12 examples like this, but I will go. This is exactly the copy-paste, almost. They all was born 25 of December for Christmas, for a solstice of winter. Zoroaster in Persia, Baal in Phoenicia, Indra in Tibet, Odin for Scandinavian civilization, Anna in Bermuda, Crete in Chaldea, Bali in Afghanistan, Joan in Nepal, Tammuz in Syria, Adad in Assyria, Bedru in Japan, Eros for Druids. Okay, so many coincidences. This is the notion of Sol Invictus. Actually, Jesus was born, apparently, according to this, let's say, transposition, 25 of December, knowing that historically we know it's impossible. In Bethlehem, okay, his birth was announced by a star and the three magi, okay, the three wise men, okay. Sirius, the star, Sirius, aligns with the three most visible stars in the Orion belts, okay, for which in Gizeh, okay, the pyramids in Egypt, in Petra as well in Jordan, or in the Maya, Aztec, in Khmer pyramids in Cambodia and so on, all of them, they retranscribe this alignment for this solstice of winter. Okay, so, but the thing is, which is the retranscription of sacred geometry, and also the fact that this alignment allows a certain magnetism at this period of time. And actually what is interesting as well within that is, you know, the Virgin Mary, okay, embodies the constellation of the Virgin. Okay, and it's called also the house of bread, knowing that the Virgin, I mean the symbol of this star, I mean this constellation, is carrying a basket of bread, and Bethlehem was supposed to be the place where Jesus was born, but Bethlehem in Hebrew means literally house of bread. House of bread. Okay, so is this pure coincidence? Question mark. I let you think about that, but there is a lot of transposition regarding that. It's like the number of 12 disciples. It's maybe also 12 constellation for which Jesus is at the center. Okay, knowing being like the sun, because there is a lot of metaphor regarding light of Jesus, but it's more probably beyond of that. What I try to tell you is that apparently this is just the fact that there is the cycle of nature, the rebirth and so on, the transposition of the fact that the Sol Invictus, the light, is forever, and even if it's going down the maximum in winter, then it's coming back after a certain battle of 3 days. So this is the capacity of individual human being can access to this as an energy and also as an inner journey. Well, I hope that it will vibrate. I know it's a little bit difficult to catch, probably also with my accent and my vocabulary and so on. Sorry about that, I try my best. Try to soak and infuse essentially the essence of that. Take it out if you don't like. It's like a buffet, you take whatever you want. Hoping it will help you to shape your master key to open up the door of consciousness, love, whatever you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to the Dome and to home. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.